Let's go back to your postdoc days.
Yeah.
Working with Jeff Hinton would have been, looking back, a bit like performing with a garage band that was to later go become the Beatles. Did you see early signs of the Beatles in there, or what kept you? What was it like?
Yeah, yeah. A group of you're right, like a bit like ragtag musicians, putting together things. Um, there were lots of talented students and postdocs in the group at that time. Jeff was at Carnegie Mellon only for 5 years, from 82 to 87. Then he moved to Toronto, University of Toronto. I worked during a period when the backprop algorithm had not been rediscovered. Which that paper from Jeff came in '86 with Williams and Rumelhart. So this was pre-backprop days. So it was really difficult to train neural networks on large problems. And this was during the early days of the Boltzmann machine
Hmm.
project, for which he got the other half of the Nobel Prize, as I mentioned. And so it was very clear to me that Jeff was very unique. He had a vision uh, which others did not have, even in computer science at that time. And even once over our weekly lunch, I asked him, so early on actually, so how is that you seem so convinced that this neural network thing would work, while pretty much everyone is opposed to it, even at CMU at the time. And in fact, if you look at the CMU faculty guide in 1983, I have a copy of it in my office at Columbia, and there you have about 100 different topics, and for each topic, it will list all the professors and postdocs working on that area. So computer vision, there'll be like 20, 30 people. Robotics, the guy who founded Boston Dynamics, for example, Mark Rabid, he was an associate professor there at that time. And so robotics, we had a whole bunch of people, natural language processing, speech understanding. And you look at the listing for neural networks, there are only three names mentioned.
Hmm.
Jeff Hinton and his two postdocs. The first postdoc was Dave Turetsky, who's still there, and myself, and nobody else. So that tells you how popular neural networks were at the time. And so I asked him, so how do you, why do you think this business would work? He said, Venkat, it's very simple. Inside inside our skull, we know the brain is a neural network. That we know for sure because people have cut open and looked at it, and so they've done slices of it. So we know the hardware is a network, and we know it works because you and I are sitting here talking about it. So we know it works. I just have to figure out how it works. So he always, almost it seemed like he said, "Look, we have an existence proof that it is a network and it works. We just have to figure out what the algorithm is."
Hmm.
And essentially, that's what he managed to do by and large. It took about 40 years, from the time he started to say 2012 is when people started believing in deep neural nets and so on. So that was that gave me an indication that this might go somewhere. That the garage band might turn into Beatles, as you put it. So yeah, that was an early indication.